Hey everyone, today we're going to really get into our first little bit of probability, and we're going to start talking about outcome and events, and this is super heavy with vocabulary, so make sure that you learn these words and understand them, okay? Essential question: how do you identify favorable outcomes of an event? Key ideas: an experiment, an investigation or procedure that has varying results. The possible results of an experiment are called outcomes. A collection of one or more outcomes is an event. The outcomes of a specific event are called favorable outcomes. How I like to remember favorable outcomes are the outcomes that I want to have happen. So for example, like here's a spinner. What are the outcomes of this spinner that can be there? Well, I can spin a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. But let's say I only want to spin an odd number. Okay, so what are the favorable outcomes there? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, because those are the ones that I want. So there's also the difference between what are the favorable outcomes or what are the outcomes, and then how many of them are there. So it can make sure you follow along with the vocabulary, okay? So here's an example. Randomly selecting a marble from a group of marbles is an experiment, because that's the event that you're going to do, okay? Each marble in the group is an outcome. Selecting a green marble from the group is an event. So here's my possible outcomes. This is purple. I know it's hard to tell. Purple, blue, green, red, yellow. The event is choosing a green marble. And so the number of favorable outcomes is 2. What are the favorable outcomes? Green and green. Okay? This is kind of slowly getting to this idea of probability. We could say the probability of choosing a green. Eventually things are going to look like this. Probability of green, that's my event. There are 2 greens out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then of course you'd simplify. So this is where we're headed, okay? Let's look at example 1. Identifying outcomes. You roll the number cube. So it's just something super simple like this, except they actually have the numbers on there. What are the possible outcomes? Well, what's on that number cube? The possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Notice the question is what, not how many. If the question was how many possible outcomes, you would say there are 6 possible outcomes, but this question says what are the possible outcomes? So you list them, okay? Part B, what are the favorable outcomes of rolling an even number? Well, a strategy is make a little table. What are your even numbers? There's a 2, there's a 4, there's a 6. The not even, or what you would call odd, 1, 3, and 5. So what are the favorable outcomes of rolling an even number? The favorable outcomes are 2, 4, and 6. Again, it's what, not how many, okay? If I said how many, you would say 3. This last part here, what are the favorable outcomes of rolling a number greater than 5? Again, a little strategy. What are the numbers greater than 5? I've got a 6. The ones that aren't greater than 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Remember, 5 is not greater than 5, okay? So what are the favorable outcomes of rolling a number greater than 5? The favorable outcome is 6. Okay? Remember, favorable outcomes are what you want to happen. The outcomes are what are your possible options. Okay? Go ahead and pause it for a quick second and give these up here a try. All right? Pause it. All right, hopefully you paused it. A little quick review. It says you randomly choose a letter from a hat that contains the letters A through K. What are the possible outcomes? Well, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and K. Those are the possible outcomes. Part B, what are the favorable outcomes of choosing a vowel? Okay, well, what are those? Those are A, E, and I. Yes, I know O and U are vowels, but those are not in my letters A through K. So those are the favorable outcomes, okay? Possible outcomes, favorable outcomes. All right, let's look at example 2. counting outcomes. So this is where the language is changing from what to how many, okay? It's very nitpicky and precise. And my printer's getting a little funky, so you're gonna have to bear with me with the colors, okay? You spin the spinner. How many possible outcomes are there? Well, I tell you, this is purple, these ones are gonna be red, this is green and blue. So how many possible outcomes are there? Well, kind of like the spinner I showed you here, we talked about how many possible outcomes are there. You have to count how many sections there are, okay? So how many sections are there? There are 6 possible outcomes. Now, do some of them have a higher likelihood of being chosen? Yes, but that's what we get onto later in the chapter, okay? So 6 possible outcomes. All right, and how many ways can spinning red occur? Well, I told you these are my reds. I know they look kind of pink, but I see red, red, and red. So how many ways can red occur? 3 ways. All right, part C, and how many ways can spinning not purple occur? What are the favorable outcomes of spinning not purple? Just like before, we can make a little table to organize. So spinning purple, this would be purple here. Not purple would be everything else. Red, 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 green, blue. Okay, list them all. Red occurs 3 times, so you have to list all 3 of them each time. So what are the favorable outcomes? The favorable outcomes are red, 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 green, blue. That's the favorable outcome. How many ways can it happen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 ways. All right? Let's look at example here. It's not really an example, it's the on your own section. Again, there's purple, these are blue, okay? Go ahead and pause this and give it a try. Alrighty, hopefully you paused it. Let's look at part A. Before that, look at here. It says you randomly choose. Okay, that's important that you're randomly choosing. Okay, that the event needs to be random. How many possible outcomes are there? Well, how many marbles are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there are 8 outcomes. In how many ways can choosing blue occur? Well, how many blue marbles are there? There are 2. So it can happen 2 ways. And then part C, how many ways can choosing not yellow occur? All right, well, here's yellow, right? Not yellow, not yellow, not yellow. So how many ways can it occur? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it cannot occur 5 ways. That's the how many. And then the second part is what are the favorable outcomes of choosing not yellow? Well, that is blue, blue, green, red, purple. So list them all out. Super important that if one of the colors shows up more than once that you list it both ways. All right, I hope that helps. Go ahead and give some of them practice on big ideas, and I'll see you later.